Yo, I just watched that Twisted Tea video.
It's nasty, right?
That is
Nasty.
poetic justice.
I like how you put that. Man. Yeah, that felt good, bro. That felt good, man.
That's poetic justice. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, it is a video of exactly what would happen if you call someone a nigga unprovoked. As a white man, calling a black man nigga unprovoked. That is exactly the outcome you should expect every time.
My guy was so patient with him too. My guy said, "Look, bro, don't call me a nigga, man." The critical moment in that video, G, is when homie drops the can. Cause he, as a dude who's been in that situation before, like I'm looking at bro to see like, all right, how is he gonna handle this? And he's very patient with him. He's very calm to the point where I wasn't sure if he was gonna do anything.
It doesn't look like you.
And
He looked like he was gonna stop at some point.
And then he tried to flip the can, which is something that like you do when you're trying to be cool, like, you know what I mean? And he didn't catch it. I was like, man, now you gotta hit him. Now, you know what I mean? Because that's a you get in your head at that point. You might be like, man, I just lost my whole mojo. So when he picked the can back up, I was like, you gotta hit him, because now he's talking mad shit. Because homie tried to kick the can when it was on the ground, bro. And I'm glad if he had kicked the can, that whole thing I think goes a very different way, bro. But he happened to snatch the can up. And once he had the can, I was like, thank God he at least didn't let this man kick the can. It was a critical moment where you might lose all your momentum. Nah, he took that momentum. Brought it to that man's face with the can.
It looked like fireworks as the water exploded into mist. It was quite beautiful. I was like, damn, did Spielberg shoot this? This is very, very graphic. Is this CGI?
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Definitely the water gets the Grammy or the Oscar for supporting actor for sure. The Twisted Tea can is all over the place.
I'll tell you what though, there's a conversation to be had about being able to read when a fight's about to break out. And I don't know if that is a cultural thing. I don't know if that is a pigment thing. I don't know what it is, but as a man, it is very, very important to be able to read when a fight is about to go out. Because sometimes if you're reading this, it's too late. And now, there's Twisted Tea exploding and you're like off of your head, because he had many a moments to be able to not get there. The man gave him plenty of opportunity to not get there. Throwing the can around means I'm still in a playful mood, so I can, we don't have to do this.
See, I think the dude knew that, like, I don't know, bro. Like the white dude looked like he was ready to lose a fight. You know what I mean? Like he didn't look like he was scared of it going to a physical place, but he also didn't look like he had any moves for a physical place. You know what I mean? It didn't look like anything was gonna stop him from talking his shit. Like, you know what I mean? So it didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't look like some dude that had never been punched in the face before. He looked like some dude that, because the way he took it, when he was like, all right, you got it. That's an ass that has been whooped before. I don't think that's his first ass whooping, bro.
I mean, if you're gonna go around and being cavalier, calling people niggas out of nowhere, then I'm pretty sure that's not your first fight, because if that is an indication of how comfortable you are doing that, you've been confronted about that before, for sure.
Bruh. That's another thing to talk about, is what do you do when you feel that fight about to be in motion? Like, do you immediately back out the room? Because there's definitely people that go towards that fight. It's people that pull the phone out. You know what I mean? What is your instinct?
I've always been a person that tries to avoid fighting, and not because I'm afraid of fighting, but one, I believe in de-escalation. I think it's quite easy to de-escalate situations, and two, I'm not fully invested a lot of the times in trying to fight somebody. Now, if a situation pushes itself, me and you've been in situations where as boys we've had to handle what we've had to handle, how we've handled it. You know what I mean? But I definitely don't look for that. I definitely don't look to move towards fighting, because it's also uncool, man. Like, the women don't enjoy watching men fight. And I've always been a dude who tries to be as tuned in as I can be with what the women are into. So I'm the dude who's talking to the women after the fight has occurred.
I don't know if that's always true. I've definitely been on some dates. I was at the movie theater one time, and this dude, as we're leaving the movie theater, this dude storms into the movie theater as if somebody had done him an egregious, disrespectful act. This man came back, oh, yeah, not gonna do that to me, walking past us. Now, the shorty I'm with stops and goes, I wonder what he's angry about. I said, we're not making it to this door quick enough, because whatever he is about to start is gonna end far from us, hopefully. I don't know if that's always the case, bro. And that's what I was asking. Like, I didn't mean to put you on the spot in terms of like, what do you do when somebody's trying to fight you? I'm saying in that room when you minding your own business, you feel that somebody's getting aggressive. You see some dude over there talking to his homie, like, man, pointing at some other dude, and the other dude is sitting there giving me mugging him, and a fight is about to break out. You know what I mean?
I gauge it.
What do you
I gauge it, G, because I have to see what are guns about to come. Like, I have to gauge it. If it looks like a situation where more than two dudes scrap, if it's not a scrap and it looks like it's about to be a brawl, I'm probably gonna find a way to keep whatever fit I have clean as it was when I got there, right? Especially if it doesn't concern me. Now, there's certain things you can pick up when dudes is about to get into that hammer talk. And so if I see that coming, then I'll move. Like, the people that shoot guns don't say that they're gonna shoot the guns. They shoot the guns is what happens. So you need to be very vigilant and realize, okay, is this a situation where there are people not talking who look like they'd still take this thing to the next level? Avoid of those circumstances. I'll watch a good fight now and then, dude. It's entertaining. I'll stick around and I'll watch it happen and comment.
I feel you. That's what I'm saying. Is like, it's really such a gender thing. I think it's just more basic down to the type of person you are in terms of fight or flight. Like some people, especially so when it doesn't involve you, some people are still like, let's get up on out of here, or at least let's check for the exits. Some people are like, ooh, and those are the people that usually end up like recording it on their camera. You know what I mean? That are shouting world star, that are, there's some instigators too. Some people love to instigate a fight. So I'm like, man, there's a lot of, if I had been there in that Twisted Tea shop, I'm like you, I probably would have seen like, they arguing. Now, matter of fact, I don't know. Cause what do you do? Cause if he's saying nigga as a black person in the vicinity, then you got to kind of come up and just be like, hey bro, like,
Not
cut
if
that
I
shit out.
not if I see this dude spitting Twisted Tea cans in his hand, because I know what that means. That means he's got this situation figured out. This man is a man weighing his options. I'm not gonna step in unless I need to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if this man was being coy about it and everything, and I see this dude being aggressive, then chances are we'd have to check him. You know what I'm saying? Just let him know that the fire that he's coming with can be met with fire sometimes, and so just put somebody in place. Yeah, put somebody in place. And somebody like that, embarrassing them is always the best way to be able to do that. And you can do that on a very intellectual level very easily. Somebody that's acting out of rage is easy to break down intellectually because they're not thinking logically.
See,
Did that all
I
rhyme?
like your stuff. Doug, are you Big Boy from Outkast? I think I appreciate you, my G, because I think that leaves me with a very confident sense that had you been there, that either you would have allowed Homeboy to handle that, and we still would have gotten to see that Twisted Tea firework explosion, or there would have been a wet floor sign came out of nowhere, smack Buddy upside his head.
Yo,
You would have had a whole different vibe video.
there's a there's a story that me and you went through when we had to confront somebody, and I'll get right to that right after Miles Xavier. We have done the due diligence, which is to welcome every single person listening to the All the Way Live podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and this is where the
Love y'all.
clapping thing goes. This is where's our clap machine?
Hey,
Post edit.
We'll add it in post. We'll add it in
It,
post.
it never gets edited in post, goddamn it.
It does.
Anyways,
You hear them. That's how you know he ain't go back to hear them air horns on that last video.
I'm playing. I'm
We
playing.
out
I'm
here.
playing. We're professionals. We
Off
cooking
post.
and that and as you can tell, the qualities of the shows is getting harder. The topics are getting harder. You know, we're really building this thing. And how we've broken the All the Way Live podcast, for those of you that are first time listeners, is to divide it up into 3 different sections. Now, those sections are about Xavier, things that I write down. Those segments that we have broken down to is the stumble upon, current news, and recommended and review. Now, for stumble upon, these are going to be things that me and Miles have stumbled upon over the week, things that have interested us, things that have require us for us to bring forward. That's what we break down with y'all. And then from there, we go into current news. And this is whatever is hot and sizzling on the topic meter. We go right up to what matters. We grab that out and we break it down for you, right? And I got to tell you guys, all right, the current news is current news, but on recommended and review, this is where we get y'all. All right, now recommended and review, this is where we engage with you guys, the audience, man. This is where we take the things that the fans, the listeners, the people tell us to talk about, and we bring it forward. And on today's show, people want us to talk about the movie Soul, and we've talked and we watched Soul. We did the due diligence. Y'all asked for it, we did it. Y'all wanted us to
Big
watch it,
facts.
we watched it. We watched it twice, matter of fact, because that's what the people want.
Big Disney energy.
Big Disney energy, big D energy. You feel me? And so we going to too far. All right, too far. Whatever. I take it back. So, and then from
Let's
there we
go.
go into, and then from there we go into reviewing Your Honor. Right, Miles Xavier. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grab a drink, grab a vice, grab a plate of food, grab a drink, turn up your ear pods. This is the All the Way Live podcast, baby. Welcome.
What up? The live guys is in the building. Shout out everybody who's an excellent gift wrapper over the holidays. Shout out all the rappers. Matter of fact, shout out everybody who is in that very small window of people that is able to do something cool on New Year's safely. That's raw. You know what I'm saying? I think that's mad overrated. But it's if you can't hook something up, hope you brought in the year dope. It's the first pot of 2021, man.
As we were saying, Miles Xavier, just to piggyback off of the conversation that we were just having on fighting, I remember a particular instance where you guys came to visit South Africa and we took a trip and we're moving around and we were in, the way South Africa is broken up for people that haven't been, is that South Africa is definitely a black city. It's Africa, right? But there are still pockets in Africa where there are predominantly the people of Afrikaans descent, right? Afrikaners, which is still South Africans, undoubtedly. However, those would be your white South Africans, right? Specifically from the Dutch descent. Afrikaners, Dutch descent. And then you have British South Africans as well. Breaking it down for y'all. Very simple. Anyways, if you know the history of South Africa, you know the history of South Africa is filled with racial tensions and turmoil. So we were taking a trip down into one of these pockets where it's a predominantly Afrikaner city. We pull up, Miles Xavier, and it was your guys' first time in South Africa. We are met with aggression from this older white gentleman, right? Now, he didn't say anything particularly to us, but in reference to us, he said these he said that's you people, something you people, right? You people.
Yeah,
And he said that,
something indicative. Yeah, something indicative of his belief that we were belong to a group beneath him.
yes, essentially, right? And so with that, I heard it and I came and I approached you. It was me, we had a white friend with us from the US as well, first time visiting South Africa. And I told you guys, I said, gentlemen, I'm gonna confront this person on this thing that he said, but the reason I'm doing it is because it's important for him to understand that that type of attitude and that type of energy will not be tolerated by all, will not always be tolerated. And I wasn't doing it in order to to flex on him. It was more so in order to impart some knowledge on him, just to let him know, hey, listen, you are using these words freely, and that's what we did. I told you guys this, and then I went up to him and I said, hey man, I heard you say you people in reference to us. I think it's very important that you know that some people like myself are going to be offended by it, and it's important that you're cognizant of that so that we can use language that is not offending to everybody. You were there. I believe that's what I said verbatim.
Yeah, and I mean, good memory, dude. I do remember being very proud and taking note of how you handled that and how you used it very intentionally as a teachable moment in your space, right? In your uh, country that you are our host, right? And that is definitely something that resonated with me. Is like when you take people somewhere, when you invite somebody to view your home or into a certain space that you might be more comfortable with than they are, it's important to uh, be that buffer between them and what they might experience. Maybe not in necessarily because you know me and Will can't handle ourselves or could not
Mm.
have handled Buddy if we but maybe we wouldn't have recognized where that energy was coming from in the same way, being foreign to that space and the historical perspective of how racism developed in that country. So yeah, man, I mean, that was definitely a moment where a very fun trip, um I mean, I don't want to say even took like a downturn or a too serious turn, but like, man, that was definitely a very poignant moment of like when confronted with uh a lack of intellectual base of and disrespect, um confront that with your intellectual abilities, with your and you don't have to meet that with fire, right? And so as we talked about some of the other cases before, you can meet that with you know not only am I not what you think I am, you're not what you think you are, and I can explain to both of us why, right?
Yeah,
And if you want to throw hands, we could take it there. So I
which
think,
is an
yeah,
important element to
that's
that.
power.
It's an important element,
That's
but like
power.
it's an important convo for for it's an important convo to have, in just the manner of how do you handle someone being overtly racism to you as a black man. You feel me? Ooh, we just stumbled on a topic just like that, fresh off the dome.
Big
Um,
facts. Yeah. And I think it's situational, right? And I think it depends on who's doing it to you. And, it's a lot to ask Black people on top of everything else to weigh their options carefully when confronted with something that they should not have to deal with ever, right? But I think what it comes down to is, where are you at? Is this a teachable moment? Is this person threatening your person? And I'm of the belief that if they are threatening your person, like, then do whatever you have to do to get them out your way, right?
yeah,
If they're not threatening your person, decide whether it's a teachable moment. If it's not a teachable moment, then go to make your moves, man. But if it is, then that's why we out here trying to make sure that we are fiercely articulate about this. We are educating ourselves about our situation and how we got here, and to be able not to speak for anybody else, but to be able to speak the truth of what's happened and what's created our circumstances to anybody who would seek to simplify them, to gaslight us about who we are and our power and you know what we can be and what our options are and the agency we should have, our
yeah.
humanity.
It, it's I think it's also important to realize that the objective is not to be right in the situation, because just like in our situation, we very articulately broke down exactly, how this could be offending with very intentional energy, and yet his response was still of aggression. He was being, he was swearing at us, he was becoming very loquacious and mumbling, and I think at some point sweating. We laughed it off because there's three of us and easily we could break this man down. And I believe he ended up going to say, the issue with you people in this country is that you're uneducated, and I'm a lawyer, and so and so. And we left because we realized, oh, this person has no idea not only who they're talking to, but what they're talking about. and then we're able to push that from there. Now, if we wanted to meet that aggression with aggression, with meet that fire with fire, we had that option. But in realizing that the effort to do that, and then the potential repercussions that come from there, and what you'd have to handle, it does not outweigh just being able to be like, all right, whatever, and keeping it moving without missing a beat. I imparted it. He doesn't want to take it. That's not on me, and I keep it moving. I think the rush to aggression. There's very little space in the world for a black man who's unable to manage his aggression, and the repercussions for us are futile at times. Not
That's a
futile,
reality we
deadly.
have.
Sorry, deadly.
That's a reality we have to live with, but that's not the way that it should be, right? We do have to walk around with the knowledge that um, we cannot and will not get away with what other people get away with, but that it shouldn't be that way. That's a weight that we have to carry. So while we acknowledge that, I would say that, yeah, man, I think it's part of a it's part of a system that makes it's part of a system that puts black people under so much pressure that when a perfect moment to smack somebody in the face with a can of tea is the perfect measure of expression of what is happening, right? And the fact that so many we all have a subconscious knowledge that we're constantly backing, that black people are constantly backed into that corner. And it was amazing to see the exact correct measure of force explode all over that guy's face.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Hey man, we got rolling right into these conversations. I didn't even have the time to ask you to dap on in and talk to us. Let the people know how you feeling, what type of energy you bring to the podcast. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm out here re recalibrating after the holidays. A lot of time uh just really strengthening family connections, right? Like drove all the way to Florida to see my grandparents. Was very deliberate about calling my bro. His birthday is the 28th. My big brother Daniel. Shout out to him.
Shout out.
Just connecting. Yeah, connecting with him and his family. So a lot of that has meant not doing, typical house, regular other 51 weeks of the year stuff. So I'm getting back in my bag with my laundry rotation, with cooking for myself and food prep, not relying on leftovers and fast food. Coming out the holidays, like I'm just trying to, realign, re-engage, get back with the pod schedule. You know what I mean? It's all falling into place. But I'm definitely I'm back and I'm ready for 2021 and to do as much as we can do with whatever might come. I think last year everything that it was caught us off guard with how crazy it was. This year, even if it don't get better, we know you can't break us. So let's bring it on.
It's a
How
beautiful
you doing?
thing.
How you,
I was waiting.
how you doing?
As you can
What, you
tell,
want
man.
an invitation over here? Come on, go tell us how you is. What up? Bring it in. What's going on?
Nah, man. As always, it's always a pleasure to be on this podcast. It genuinely is, and I was telling my lady, I was saying, begin prepping on Saturday for the podcast, and then you move into the mindset of it on Sundays. I do the yoga, make sure that my energies are aligned. I just came back from a lovely a family dinner where my sister was DJing to an applause of close to the family, man. So it's always a pleasure
Hey,
when
shout
I
out.
can, yeah, for sure. That's a whole story we need to talk about. But it always feels good when the day's been good and it's just genuine positive energy that we can throw into this podcast, man. And as always, your boy brings you nothing, if nothing, but positivity and banter. We're back with that today, bro. That's what it is.
Live, baby. Live. That's what it is. We cultivating positivity for y'all, man. Serving it to you on a bed of hip hop and goddamn banter. Did he say banter? I'm adding banter again. 2 times. Banter twice. Banter 2 times.
That's the
Banter's
name of
always
this episode. Banter 2 times. Banter 2 times. Hey, man, speaking of banter, we will be right into Stumble Upon, my G.
let's go. You want to go first, or should I go first? I know you a little. I know your story hits close to home.
The story does hit close to home. The story, Miles Xavier got scammed out of an Xbox this on the 1st of January, sir. On the 1st of
Streets is
January.
hungry.
The streets are starving. The streets are starving. I'm not gonna lie. It was it was like stepping out into a Chicago winter and just being hit in the face with that Chicago chill and realizing that the jacket that I have on is clearly not thick enough for this temperature outside. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like.
Streets will let you know. But man, I just want to commend you because after we talked about on the last podcast how many families the Mandela Foundation has fed, and it wasn't enough for you. You had to go out and feed a family of escapists too.
It's funny you say
Man,
that.
stop.
It's funny you say that. I'll tell you, and I'll get to why. But essentially, I wake up on the 1st. I look around. I think, listen, there's too much clutter. In I have a lot of things. Instead of letting this Xbox sit and collect dust, maybe flip it. Maybe buy something for the podcast with that money. Increase the quality, whatever the case is. I put it up on essentially South Africa's version of Craigslist, and I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm
Which is
more
called.
It's called Gumtree.
I thought it was gonna be called like Nagwimbe's list or some shit like that. I'm saying, bro, they didn't want to match it 1-to-1.
I can't do this show. I can't do this show.
Shooters gonna shoot.
Listen, it's called Gumtree, and so I go ahead and I put the Xbox up on Gumtree. The gentleman hits me, hey man, I need to buy this Xbox for my son, my kid, whatever. Let's do it. It was weird because he was pushing the bank details, like send me your bank details just so I can secure it. I don't want to, I don't want anybody else to buy the shit. Let me send you the bank detail. Let me send you the deposit, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh dude, it's not even noon on the 1st of January and I'm already getting to the bank. Clearly 2021 is my year of getting to the bank because the universe wouldn't clear. Yeah.
You're trying to sell this Xbox.
I'm trying to sell the Xbox on Gumtree. On South Africa's Craigslist. Right?
And the guy requests to pay you by you giving him your bank details and he's just gonna use that to deposit some cash.
Which is, things get paid through bank transfer all the time. That's not an unstandard practice, right? So much so that I was saying I'm only gonna take bank transfer if you give me your ID, if you give me a proof of payment, and I get a confirmation from the bank that money has been sent, right? The way how sophisticated. And I'm glad I can actually talk about this. So if anybody is listening, they can, learn from this, how sophisticated these scams are. So they fake the proof of payment from the bank. They ask for my details, exactly how it's done. They send that through with the same.
What did they send you?
A proof of.
How did they fake the proof of payment?
So they take so you have when you finish paying, when you send cash to somebody, you can request an electronic sheet that highlights who the thing was sent to, how much money was sent to, etc., etc., etc. And it's an official bank letter.
And this comes to you in an email.
So he would then get emailed, right? Or it could either get sent to me directly, or he gets sent to it and then he forwards it on to you, right? And
but you received it. You received an email with like a PDF of a bank statement, basically.
It's essentially, right? He sends me his ID. He sends me that. Now in South Africa, and I know I'm not sure if it's the case in the US, but in South Africa, if I send you cash, I put your number in the questionnaire before I send you your cash, and then the bank will send you a message notifying you that payment has indeed been enacted, right?
Cool.
Now, if you're moving from different banks, sometimes I can take a day, sometimes I can take 2. It's the 1st of January on a Saturday. It's the 1st of January on a Friday. So I'm thinking to myself,
he's got to click it.
He's they're cooking. So all of these things get sent to me. I double check with somebody with the same bank details. I say, how does this look? You say, no, it seems it seems legit, right? It seems legit. Cool. He says, listen, my driver's gonna come through and pick up this Xbox. No problem, whatever. The drive, I'm speaking to the driver, I'm coordinating with him. The driver pulls up, but it's a lady driving and two dudes. And I thought that was weird. And I was like, nah, I need ID from one of y'all. I need ID from one of y'all so I can take a picture of the ID or something. Listen, man, I'm just the hands. My boss said I should come here. He said he got everything handled. I don't even have a phone. Whoop-de 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 whoop. At that point in time, I'm sitting with
You're thinking he's already paid you.
I'm thinking to myself, listen, this is a little off. This is when I first started thinking, this might be off, but he's already paid me and the bank already sent it to me. I've taken the proof of payments. I've put them next to each other.
He
I've
sent
done
it to you from the bank, right?
he
So
sent
you
it to me.
don't. Do you have a way to check your bank balance? Like, do you have an app?
So I checked my bank balance, right? And I had him say, hey, Pimp, and he goes, it's the 1st of Jan. We're on different banks. Give it a few hours or whatever type story, right? In my head, I'm thinking, there's no way they could fake the text message that the bank sends you, because the number that the bank uses to send you a text message is not a number that you can particularly fake. It's a 14-digit numbers plus 278 whatever. You can tell when the bank texts you because the numbers is different, 80005 whatever. They now have copied that and have a system that will send it to your phone directly. I was impressed at that. Like, when, I'm not gonna lie, once they drove off, I knew what the jig was.
But you gave it to him.
I handed it over. I handed this thing over to them. I donated to them. Fast forward to now, they're blowing my phone up talking about, dude, they were sending me it looked like ransom pictures. It looked like kidnapping pictures of my Xbox, talking about, if you don't pay us $60, we gonna send it to a pawn shop and send it immediately. And they were sending me pictures. I was like, bro, look, please give it to your brother or whatever. I've literally spent more cash on food before. I don't need it that bad, but please stop hitting my phone up, because now y'all harassing me is what you're doing. I said, please give it away or something. Just stop hitting my line, because it was blowing my line up.
We have your Xbox. I know you just drove away in the car.
Literally, dude. Literally, they did. They kept on going back and forth with that, and to continue the scam. They're gonna send your money or else you won't see the Xbox. Obviously, you send the cash and boom, they leave again. So they kept on blowing up. I was like, listen, guys, just take. So, guys, all to say, the streets is hungry out there. The streets is hungry. I was kind of happy that happened to me early in the year, because then it showed me, okay, this is what 2020 is like. This is the year of the wolves, and I've been sharpening my teeth. So if this is how we play it, I'm ready to play like this. You know what I'm saying? But be safe out there, man. Streets is hungry.
It's like the cold open to Atlanta, where the dude's in the car and his weed dealer turns around and goes, "Hey, sorry about that, bro."
Almost exactly. And that was my first day out from having COVID in 2 weeks. So my sister said it was like, the $42 that they give you when you come out of prison. She was like, it's like you stepping out of prison and they steal your $42. I was like, that's pretty accurate. Steal it at the gate,
Robin season.
It's Robin season, man. 2021 Robin season. People stay vigilant out there. But that's my story of how I got scammed on the first of New Year's, man. R.I.P. that Xbox. I hope it makes it into good hands.
I'm sorry, dude. Hopefully maybe it'll find its way with my Xbox controller. One of the dudes that lives around the way came through and was just like, little youngin, bro. Little came through, was pulled up, knocked on my door. Hey dude, you have a few people over. We're trying to use can we let me get your Xbox controller? I said, he's used it and he's returned it before. And I said, in the way he took thanks. In the way the door closed behind him. I I knew I was never gonna see that controller again. And I ain't. And I think he moved.
Oh man. Happy
Be like that.
2021, man. Happy 2021. What's your stumble upon, brother? Talk to me.
Practice to the game, bruh. So ever since I came back from Florida, my sleep schedule been off. So me being the strange, weird person that I am, I watch these when I'm trying to fall asleep. What really, puts me in a good place, warms my heart, makes me ready to fall asleep, feeling like everything's okay. Is watching white people in deep trouble. So I go on
Explain.
YouTube. I go on YouTube, and there's this channel called JCS Psychology. Shout out them, man. It's basically a series of interrogation videos that are broken down using criminal psychology principles. So in almost all of the cases, there's a confession, right? So you kind of know from the jump that the person's going to confess, but you get you get the case from the perspective of basically the media and the police. So they present the facts to you in basically the order that the police have them, but you kind of know that the person is guilty in most cases, right? So you just see this person be interrogated, and you see the story of what actually happened slowly line up with what they said. It's fascinating stuff. So they break down all sorts of habits and things that people do when they're lying. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. But uh yeah, these videos are about 20 minutes long to 40 minutes long. Crazy stories, all types of nut stuff, bro.
Like
So
what? Give me a story.
like there's one in Florida, of course, where this dude is the chef. He's the manager and the head chef at a restaurant called Bonefish Grill. And one of the shorties that is working there is, he gets in a relationship with her. She's like one of the servers. Uh and then they both do a lot of drugs, and then they get into an argument in his car. And so the first thing we're presented is the video camera of the car, and you see like the car shaking, like they got into an argument. You know what I mean? And then she never gets out of the car, and he like drives away, and then she's found later, right?
Okay.
So she's dead, super dead. So they go interview everybody because she was last seen at work, right? So they go and interview everybody at work, and they interview this. He's the first person they interview. Nothing comes up, but they interview everybody else, and then they later find the security video. So they go to talk to him again, and that's where the video cuts in, is this interrogation. And they're like, so what happened? And he doesn't know about the video. So eventually he, of course, admits, first of all, don't talk to the police without your lawyer present. That's the main thing. Get your lawyer. And the videos break down how they'll sit you down, and the first thing they do is read you your rights, and then they make you wait for a long time.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And then they come back an hour and a half later. You're just happy to talk to somebody, right? And you've already been read your rights, and now they're talking to you without your lawyer, right? So don't say nothing without your lawyer, first and foremost. But they lock him into the story because he's trying to figure out what they got on him. So he admits that they got into an argument in the car. And then he's like, she got out and I got out and I drove home. But they got the video that shows that she never got out the car, right? So they know that, and they're slowly walking. They're cooking them. They're slowly throwing onions and all sorts of seasonings in with them as they cook this man. And then he eventually admits that he killed her. And then it shows him just sitting in that room by himself, like freaking out, talking to himself, like, you messed up, man. I'm so sorry, whatever your name is. And it's some of it is hard to watch, but then you remember that he killed somebody. So it's like, dang. So yeah, these videos are nuts, bro. So I'm watching these videos, but here's the stumbled upon part, right? So I'm watching all these videos thinking about, and it become for me, and I can't sleep. So usually these videos, I'll pass out because it's just this white dude talking back and forth through the interrogation. I'll fall asleep, but this time I'm not falling asleep. So videos keep going on loop, and it just keeps looping the next one. So I'm in this mind state of thinking about going back and forth. You know what I mean? How could you outthink the police in this situation?
You're
He did
putting
it, but how
yourself
would you?
in the chair.
in all the chairs though, you know what I mean? Like of the police chair, of him in the chair, you know what I mean? Like just a fly on the wall. Like I'm going back and forth playing all these different positions. And then this other video comes up in the form of a documentary. And it's this dude talking about his brother who died. And I'm thinking, oh dang, somebody murdered his brother and he's trying to like investigate it. Right. So the video progresses and it's just talking all these glowing things about his brother. And I'm like, man, and then I'm like waiting for the point where like, and then he joined a gang and it all went left.
Yeah,
Or like he got on drugs, you know, he met the guy that's gonna kill him, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah. At a
but
bar one night.
it never goes there. And it turns out that this dude is just a perfectly chill, like human being who got cancer and died, and his brother made a documentary. Right.
Damn.
So I'm in the middle of thinking like, how do we like, or what are the first? I'm looking for the first clues of a scenario that's going to set up his death. Like, man, this is where he went left at. This is what happened wrong, and then to later be walked into the fact that he actually just got cancer and died, and there's nothing you could do about it. Just gives you a different respect for like people do horrible things to each other, and sometimes things go left. And you can try all you want to prepare yourself for any inevitable scenario, right? Being confronted with a criminal, being wrongfully accused of something. How would you possibly handle the police in this different scenario, this and that? You could plan and you could try and out chess move, think 3 or 4 steps ahead. But then there's other stuff on the other side, like cancer, that you got that. And depending on how you get it, roll of the dice, you might have the one that takes you out, bro. Like you can't outthink it. You can fight it and you can try as hard as you can, but it might take you. And it was just like this crazy. So after that, I definitely couldn't sleep, man. I'm up for hours after that, just thinking like, man, I can't outthink death. Then the sun came up.
So what strand were you hitting at this particular
Bro,
time when you're trying to
not that
outthink
inner
death?
peace. I needed that inner peace. I needed the
No,
high
but
grade inner peace.
it speaks to the reality of the value of being healthy. You know, health is wealth, and so no matter what we take for granted at times, the fact that one, we're here, you don't know what different ailments people are dealing with, you don't know what type of what the body can do. I mean, you can have a brain aneurysm, wake up dead. That happens all the time,
Happens
you
all
know
the
what I
time,
mean?
dude. I hate
It
to wake up
really
dead.
it really does happen all the time. And so generally speaking, when we talk about going into 2021 and after having boxed COVID, the value of health is even higher to me now. And celebrating life is something that is also equally more important, and I'm just glad we've been able to build a platform that is centered directly around not only the appreciation of well-being, but also the celebration of life. Learn through Miles contemplating whether he can outthink death or not. That
Big
should be a
facts.
weed. That should be a weed strand.
That's a long. That's a bit of a mouthful, dude. What you
OG
smoking?
death.
Can't OG death or not?
Oh my
That's
goodness,
fire.
that's hilarious.
But yeah,
Buzz,
man.
Buzz Xavier, the people are talking to us, man. The
Yeah,
people,
a little bit.
the
A little
people are
bit.
talking to us. And the current news section is something that's valued. So I'm glad that we've been able to find something that is relevant and that speaks to the times. And today, what is on the topics of current news? We broke down the stimulus check last week, the $2,000 stimulus check last week. So give last week's episode a look and the clips as well. And this might be way too late inside the podcast to bring it up. However, please, if you're rocking with the boys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I know Instagram now has a whole new wave of algorithms that go, you need to share a post, you need to bookmark a post, archive it, I don't know, a lot. But listen, if you rock with us, show it up, show some love. Now, moving into current news, what we are looking at today is I've had a lot of people reach out to me regarding the Bitcoin surging past $31,000, right? And so there's been a lot of talk and question around, is Bitcoin a good investment? There's a lot of different cryptocurrencies that are popping up at the same time. So I just figured it would be something worth bringing to the podcast and just kind of addressing what does it mean for Bitcoin going over to $31,000. Is Bitcoin a good investment and things of that nature, right? So in looking just off the bat, the number one question is Bitcoin a good investment? Now, I think what's important to understand from an investment perspective is that there's always going to be something that is there's always going to be something that is the laws of investment are high risk, high reward, right? And so when we talk about things being good investments, there has to be an appreciation of someone's risk tolerance and timeline, because undoubtedly having a diverse portfolio over long periods of time is one of the sure ways to beat the market. You know, the rule is time in the market beats timing the market. That's the rule. Fun little anecdote, if you will. Warren Buffett put up a challenge, and the award is, I think it's $1, $3 or $5 million, right? Between that range, between $1 and $5 million. And he said, I'll take my $1 million and bet it only on on the indexes. I'm betting on the market. So S&P 500, your Dow Jones, these are you're betting on indexes, right? Which is everything in the market. And he puts so he's saying I'll put up $1 million into my account of just indexes against anybody over a 10 or 13-year period that can outperform it, right? I think they're now in year 7 of that challenge, and no one has been able to outperform it. Warren Buffett is still ahead. No one has been able to pick the number of individual stocks needed in order to beat that. All to say that diversification over long periods of time is the most true and tested way of beating the market. Now, bring that into Bitcoin. What does it mean? Now, when people talk about investing into Bitcoin, they're referring to purchasing shares, they're purchasing ETFs.
Hey, bro.
There's different sites that allow you to access the Bitcoin markets, and it's traded like a foreign exchange market. It's traded like any other forex. So what you'd be doing in that case is that you'll be buying Bitcoin, and then at a certain time later you'd be selling it, or you'd sell it and then buy it at another time. The question comes again: is it a good investment? Now, when something is when we were in finance class, one of these finance classes we took in the masters, they asked us questions. They said they gave us a scenario. They're saying if your stock today goes from 0 to $1,000 in a day, and then continues to do that over a week, and they kept on asking us, day 1 who would buy in, day 2 who would buy in. And ironically, as the days of this particular thing kept on performing better, more people would start dropping, more people would be less willing to invest, anticipating that potentially that value would go down. And that's the same thing with Bitcoin. You know, you have people now who are seeing this meteoric rise in the value of this currency, and they want to be able to join on the ride, but also they understand that there's been a fall that comes into play. I'm trying not to be too technical with these things. Am I making sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As somebody who is only marginally familiar with Bitcoin, right? I think uh I think it does, yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense to treat it like you would stock and anything else, right? You're projecting how valuable is Bitcoin going to be over the next the period of time in which you want to see your investment, right? So when everybody's telling you, right, I see a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram and on social media saying, buy Bitcoin, just do it, right? It's like, but that's hoping that in 10 years, 15 years, that Bitcoin, not that Bitcoin becomes the currency that everybody's using, but just that, it's worth more than it is now. By how much? I don't really know. To me, I don't see. And basically, what I would ask you is, what would the reasoning be to treat Bitcoin like anything else? like besides a stock, right? So what is it
Uh,
about Bitcoin that might be more profitable faster?
I mean, that's an important question to ask, right? And that would be volatility, right? So Bitcoin is a forex. It's a foreign currency, and there's a lot of markets for the foreign exchange currencies. People buy and sell U.S. dollars. People buy and sell currencies every day. It's one of the most lucrative is one of the most lucrative trading departments when it comes to finances, right? Trillions of dollars worth of stocks are traded on a daily basis. And the reason for that is that they're volatile. Just like Bitcoin, it can move from 19,000 to 31,000 in a span of a couple of months, just shooting right up. Now, when something is volatile, it has a lot of when it's volatile, it's risky. It moves up and down very, very quickly. So it's high risk, but at the same time, it can be high reward. Now, if what I believe is that over a longer period of time, Bitcoin has shown the ability over a few years to one, continue to increase in value, and two, make sure the troughs that it has after hitting peaks are now getting less, that they're not falling off as hard anymore. Bitcoin is able to hold its value a little bit better, and generally speaking, there's a greater public appreciation for Bitcoin now. What I am cognizant of when it comes to Bitcoin is its applicability. When I look around in Africa, when I look around in the growing middle class in China, when I look at the in China and Asia, right? When I look at South America, what you realize is that you can have a perfect solution for currency and currency exchange in the first world and developed countries like Bitcoin would be in the US, for you to be able to pay with Bitcoin in or with any other blockchain currency in the US, in Switzerland. There's places in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, where you can go around just paying with Bitcoin. Developing countries don't have that luxury. We do not have the technology infrastructure yet to be able to transact in that manner. So when I see Bitcoin, I go, yes, that is a commodity that's increasing in value. However, its applicability on a global scale, as it believes it can be, is not talking to the reality of a lot of the other countries that, that's the next frontier. It's always which countries are now growing into being into using technologies. All of the interest in finance now is which countries have the most potential. Asia has a lot of potential, which is why seeing China, Singapore, and Hong Kong shoot up the way that they are. Africa used to be that. Brazil used to be that. Russia, India, what they refer to as the BRICS country: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That is what they refer to as like your overarching developing countries. And those countries, Russia maybe, but in the others, it uh, blockchain, Bitcoin, as a currency is that's a far solution for the people here right now.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Gotcha. And I think the other thing that and the volatility of it, I think essentially means that if you are hearing about Bitcoin, maybe not for the first time, but seriously considering figuring out what it is and buying it for the first time and how to buy it, because it's not as hard to buy as a lot of other stocks are. You have to do some online maneuvering. I think one of the trading platforms, like M1, allows you to buy Bitcoin straight, but it's a whole thing. But I think the bottom line is, like, if you're just hearing about it, it's not some you would have to be looking to trade it and watch it and follow it going forward now, pretty almost like a day trader, if you wanted to see very high returns on it very quickly. Um, if you if it's something that makes you excited to get into investing and looking into investing strategies, I think that's awesome. And I think that but I would just say that, yeah, it is a long-term type of thing. It's the excitement we're seeing from it now, I think, is um, deceptive in terms of how quickly the average person can see returns off of making an investment in this.
Yeah, yeah, and a few parting shots on this particular topic. One, um, I'll leave you with another fun statistic, right? Because now we're talking day trading of Bitcoin. The
Mhm.
percentage of first-time day traders who will lose money trading in the forex market. Guess how much it is?
80.
Perfect, 86%.
Makes sense.
86%. You will lose your money. And the reason that is because as someone who has day traded before, those waves are very difficult to maneuver with day trading. You can make a lot of money very quickly with day trading, but without a system, without having algorithms and data and developers who are working to be able to help you have the quickest um, to be able to have the quickest trades and to be able to sculpt different markets and focus specifically on a single market and use various tools to help you push through. Without things like that, you are a guppy swimming in a pool full of whales. And there's a great book by it's called the Flash Boys, actually, the Flash Boys. Michael, I don't want to say Michael Moore, but Flash Boys, and it speaks on these massive $100 million investments that banks and institutions have made in the internet connections that they utilize for their day traders because they want to be half a split second quicker when it comes to day trading. That is who you're playing against when you're going to be day trading with forex and things of that nature. And now, how the game is developed is that they have professors and mathematicians just simply coding into these supercomputers that are trading. That is who you're trading against when you're doing day trading, and that's important for people to understand. And more importantly on that as well, as a final point, is that there are a lot of scammers out there, people, when it comes to trading of forex, when it comes to trading of Bitcoin and anything of that nature. There's three things that people have to always be aware for when you're going to start trading on your own. One, make sure that those people have certified licenses, brokerage licenses to help you trade. Now, if people do not have those licenses and you are well entitled to ask for them, the laws of essentially any country state that if you want to start investing with somebody and you ask them for their licenses, they should be able to show you their licenses. It's either they have a trader license, a broker license, a financial service provider license, whatever the case is. Ask for those licenses. That's very, very important. In South Africa, some boys just stole $600 million from 288,000 people who were supposedly investing in Bitcoin. It was a scam. Those boys took that money and they ran. That type of thing happens all the time. Ask for certification. And two, listen, I just broke down who you playing up against. And so the concept of thinking that you can beat these flash boys who've invested hundreds of millions of dollars through trading on your phone, is it possible? Sure. Is it actually happening? Very unlikely. That's very, very, very unlikely. Be careful of people that are charging you just to do programs. Be careful of that. It's very scammy material, right? Licenses, be careful of fake traders, and more importantly, do your research, man. Do your research, reach out to people, speak to people. You need to be comfortable. There should never be a rush of you to put your money into anything if you're not comfortable with it when it comes to financial times, because you will never time the market perfectly. You will never time the market perfectly. It goes up and it goes down all the time. Time in the market will always beat timing the market. If I say anything more, I'm going to have to send an invoice out. Reach out to us privately and we can help you out.
Hey, so just to put a bow on it, you would say Bitcoin is probably most useful to most people as a way to diversify your portfolio if you're interested in cryptocurrency, and but not necessarily a silver bullet strategy to economic investing and prosperity.
The chances of you getting dog rich off of it are because of the volatility and trading your way there. I that's not the strategy that I would take. That's not the strategy that I advise any of my clients to take. What I do advise though is including that at a proportional percentage of a total portfolio for something that you can hold in the long term. So if you have 100% of your portfolio, 5% being led to currencies, that's kind of the industry standards. That's kind of how 5% is what we usually assume for exotic investments such as currencies, forex. Try that out. Try that out. Put money in there that you wouldn't be afraid to lose. If you do want to put a lot of cash into it, write it out into the long term. Give it another 3-5 year window and watch it grow over time. Have a strong stomach. That's what you pay for. You pay traders to have strong stomachs.
And you will. The other thing about Bitcoin is too is that you can buy things with it. It is complicated, but you can find marketplaces where if you just want to get out, you can. That Bitcoin will translate to value somewhere on the internet. You're just gonna have to find it later. So it is more liquid in that sense. But thank you, bro. Thank you for financially analyzing the shit out of the Bitcoin segment for us. Appreciate that.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, man. We bring that to the people. As I said, if I have to say more, I'm gonna have to charge. But just for y'all, the people we care about, we give them this to y'all for free this time around.
I'm an overpriced advisor, but I overcharge. Pay me. Let's get it.
Oh man. Recommended and review. The streets have been on fire this week about this particular movie, man. People are going crazy over Soul. And I know you've seen it.
I have seen it. What'd you think?
I thought Soul was a good movie, man. I'm interested to hear your take on it because you've always, I always respect your taste in movies. And I thought it was a cool movie. Put it there.
Yeah, I thought so. I've both seen it and read a lot of what I saw it first before I read anything about it, and then I read what people are saying, some of the things that they're upset about. Overall, I think it's decent. I'm not a connoisseur of Disney and animated movies the way I used to be in my youth, but I think that there are definitely some movies that I've watched either with females or with my nieces, Disney movies for sure that have, or animated movies, I should say, that have really like made a real impression on me. I would say that Soul it's got moments that have impressions on me, but the whole movie cohesively wasn't a super moving experience for me. Um, in the movie itself, representation is always important, so it was beautiful to see care put into the creation of Black characters. It was really cool to see how much consulting obviously went into the movie from actual Black folks giving notes, just about and that was evident just from the number of like faux pas that weren't made. But there were still some things that I just thought were really interesting choices, like acknowledging that the little ghost was a white lady, like in the movie, for them to come out and say like for him to be like, why you sound like a white lady though? Like, if you never put that line in the movie, even if you have a white voice actor as her, then you don't invite the racial overtones in the same way that you do just with that one line, just being like, you're white, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm white. Okay, cool. And it's just like, why did you do that? You know what I mean? She was perfectly like, she had a white voice, and then but there was perfectly set up for you to just assume she's a right. Now you got to sit here and have me take into my brain that this little being can use any voice of in a whole world. She could be Australian, she could be Swedish, she could be from a Latin American country, but she chose out of everything to be a white lady that speaks English. Dog, that's the most unbelievable thing about the whole movie. Like, why?
Because there's flyer accents
Why
out
would
there
she?
for sure. You could be Idris Elba.
So yeah, you would pick white lady out of, if you had access to every accent in the world. Come on, dog. Like, it just the fact that they brought attention to that, I think it made them deserve all the criticism that they got for all of that, because it's not a perfect movie in that sense. There are weird undertones of like, you know, this little ghost bitch jungle booking the fuck out of this nigga following. I want to be like you. Just like the fucking goddamn. You know what I
What are
mean?
some
Just
of the criticisms of the movie that I haven't I I didn't know
the
that they were
criticisms of the
criticizing it
movie.
like that.
The criticisms of the movie largely stem from the idea that if you zoom out, it's basically Get Out with a ghost girl that's unborn, and she discovers the passion for life through the life of a black man. Right? She's been shown
Oh
all these
yikes!
white people, and she's kind of like, I don't really care about life. And then she sees the life of an average black dude, and then she's like, I want that. And then at a certain point, she turns around and is like, I'm not giving you your body back. I'm stealing it. And he chases her down to find her, only to continue helping her, not be like, get his body back and be like, this ghost bitch tried to steal my body. Fuck that ghost bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there's a, so when you look at the movie from that perspective, there's a lot of like, okay, I see the cracks in what's a very pretty painting. So I appreciate the opportunity that it gave to uh, all the black folks that worked on the movie. The final product I think is really cool, and I'm glad that when I have kids, there's a black Disney movie, or there's starting to be with this and Princess and the Frog. There'll be multiple black Disney films that I can show them, that they'll have representations of protagonists and, you know, princesses and all that. But I think and it's really easy to juxtapose. And I know I'm ranting now, but damn, I love movies, and I've been watching a lot of them because I had time over the holidays. So if you look at there's this soul jazz inspired movie, right? Then there's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which is a fire Netflix movie with Viola Davis and
Mm.
Chadwick Boseman. Um, I think that is a moving experience, right, in terms of black people's connection to jazz and that music. And then there's one more jazz related black movie that just came out. Um,
Oh, you thinking La La Land, pimp?
out of here, bro. It escapes me. There's another one that just dropped that was about black people playing in a band.
Green
Mm,
Book.
come on, bro. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway,
Green Book is a good movie about a black dude who plays jazz. That's what Green Book is about.
isn't Green Book the one where he's the driver? Oh yeah, he's the white dude is the driver. Okay, yeah, there is the okay, cool. So yeah, Green Book, but that's not the one I was thinking of. There's another one. I thought you were just naming
You just thinking
white
Mo Better
savior movies
Blues,
for a
dude. You're
second.
just trying to find a way to Mo
I
Better
love that.
Blues.
It's a great movie. I'm trying to get back to it. But anyway, I feel like there's a lot of black content right now to compare it to, and to be like, well, there's a lot of celebrations of black people that you just didn't need a white character. Why you put a white character in it? You know what I mean? You just didn't but whatever. I thought it was good. It's a good movie. It's a good kids movie, but it's not
Mm.
a groundbreaking. It's not a step forward in the way that we look at all black entertainment to be these days.
Do you think that's an unfair pressure to put on black movies, that all the black movies that come out of these major production houses have to be groundbreaking? It always has to be Black Panther.
I think you nailed it without even realizing it. I think it's an unfair pressure to put on black filmmakers and black creators, but I think it's the exact appropriate pressure to put on major studios. I think major studios better be shaking in their boots, waking, inviting every black
Mm,
person they can to the table when they take our culture in their hands with all the money that they're able to put behind these major motion
mm,
pictures.
mm,
When we're talking about black driven projects, black Indian film, I think we can ease up on expecting everything to be this very explicit, you know, reimagining, rebirth of our culture. You know, every time we watch these, you know,
mm,
looking for these films. I do want that. I do want to do the right thing for my generation. I do want, you know, a Friday for my generation. I do want, you know, some of those things, but I think it is unfair to put that on some of the black creators that just want to do their thing and create, but for sure hold these studios to the fire and make them do the shit they're supposed to.
yeah, I thought it was a perfect analysis, and that kind of captures how I felt about it too. There was a lot of hype I heard around it, you know, just in terms of people calling it life changing and things of that nature. I wouldn't go that far personally. However, I could see how someone could appreciate that. What I was very interested in going into that movie is seeing how they handled the afterlife and spirituality in that way. I thought that they did a very fine dance in being rather elusive and general and very non specific about the type of way that they portray characters in the afterlife and what is the afterlife and what they call the great beyond. So I was just watching that with the lens of trying to understand how they would go about it. I think they kept it appropriate for children. I thought that they didn't try to put these animated characters into situations that are very difficult to explain. Is he dead? No. So he's in dream world, kids. Maybe it's it's one of those types of things. So on that front, that was very interesting to me. But I thought for the concepts that they try to reach, the real pleasure, being present is the gift of life. Yeah, I have to support that type of message. So from a kids movies perspective, I think it's a good movie. Like you said, it goes well into the arsenal of Black movies that we can refer to, especially for kids. And for me, give it 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Six
I
and a
think that's
half.
fair.
6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's a fair score.
Yeah.
And I hope it grows on me. I hope it solidifies itself as a increasingly dope movie to go back to. I think the music was really good. The animation was really cool. I did appreciate the brother in the barbershop that was
The
talking shit,
Darnell Rawlings.
and then they and then he goes like, "You just coming at me because to cover up for your own insecurities," and he's like, "Cut deep, dog."
Yeah.
That was really cool how they managed to use that barbershop as that space to show to make subtle, accurate commentary on different ways that Black people engage each other and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. So
This is beautiful.
I didn't mean to do this in the recommended reviews, but I realized that I'm gonna be angry Black man about everything we talk about today. Are we going to Your Honor next, or what's up?
Yeah, man, let's review Your Honor. We started watching it. Where you at with it? What episode are you on?
I'm on 5, which is I think the last episode that came out.
That is the last episode that came out. Walter White is a judge now, and it's hard not to see. Whenever Bryan Cranston starts lying, you get the Walter White. You just expect Skyler to pop out of nowhere.
Pretty fast, especially when he goes from patient dad to just shouting.
But it's great writing, man. It's great writing. And now at episode 5, we're seeing there's a Black queen pin apparently, and she's ready to go to war if they want it to be. This is some exciting stuff, man. This is the type of entertainment that I fully appreciate right before Snowfall comes out. It's a great show, man.
They saved it with episode 5 because I'm watching episode 4. So episode 3 ends with our homie Kofi Jones going into so Kofi Jones is the guy who gets accused of. Did we talk about what the show's about? Have we talked about the show at all?
We haven't talked about the show. But it's episode 5, dude. It's lit now. If you're about it, you're about it. If you ain't, you ain't. It is what it is, dude.
Basically, our brother on the show that is falsely accused of a crime. Man, yeah, spoiler alerts all up and through this motherfucker because it's all spoilers. That's all we're talking about. So if you ain't seen the show, if you ain't seen the show, then skip. We probably should have talked more about episode 1 and 2 or 3, 4. But anyway, how Kofi gonna walk up in there and then just get murked? Episode 3 ends with the dude is telling Kofi like, you gotta be smart. You gotta outthink them. You can't out hustle the Baxters. The Baxters hustle plays everywhere. And Kofi walks into the brother's cell at the end of the episode. I'm Kofi Jones. Cut to the beginning of episode 4. My homie
Dead.
is dead as fuck.
He's dead.
My nigga
He's
is
dead.
dead
And
as
Kofi
shit.
was about to convert to Islam, fam. It was coming.
Kofi was super dead at the beginning of episode 4, bro. I'm mad as hell. Like, damn. And it just hit me, and like that's why I said I was going to be angry. As you watch this show, it does a good job of showing you how white people just get away with everything. The kid gets in a fight at school. The senator, who's his mom's sister-in-law, shows up. He's supposed to get expelled. He only gets suspended. But as you're watching it, until episode 5, it looks like black people are just out here getting kicked around by white people and can't do nothing. Got no agency, can't, you know what I mean? And I think the show is trying to demonstrate the unfairness of that and all the different ways that white privilege corrupts people. But to wait until episode 5 to show that the black people are also have thoughts about this too, I think did the show a disservice. Because I finished episode 4 and I'm after the white folks, the Italian people blow up the house of the family that ain't done nothing to this point. And I'm just like, wow. Like, we haven't seen a single black person do anything about any of this, or even what they think about any of this. Like, it was very unbalanced. And so it seems like it's trying to make up with that with episode 5 with the black gangster soprano mom family. But low, I'll talk to the white man and say, hey, I done proved it. We didn't do it to you. It wasn't us. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't think there were very many black consultants on this show.
Nonetheless, the writing is strong. The writing is strong, and I think we should expect to see more of the matriarch character coming more into play. That seems like where the writing is going to, where that would be the main conflict that arises from that, or they join forces or something of that nature. But when you speak, great show, Your Honor, but when you speak of people that don't do anything throughout the show or the episode, it makes me think about the new Wonder Woman movie. You go through half of that movie without seeing very much superhero action, actually. And I think that's my biggest gripe about that movie. You haven't seen it, you don't have to. I would say it is about as good as Sucker Punch would be if Will Smith wasn't in there. Or nope, keep Will Smith, take Harley Quinn out.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad without Harley Quinn is what the new Wonder Woman is as good as.
What is Sucker Punch?
Sucker Punch is better than both of those. Sucker Punch is with Nicolas Cage, right?
I never heard of Sucker Punch. How to figure out what that is.
Sucker Punch is with Nicolas Cage and who's this? Sucker Punch is a good movie, dude. Better than both of those movies for sure, undoubtedly. It's got Nicolas Cage in it.
I'll give it a look.
Sucker Punch is the superhero movie of the nerd who turns into a superhero, right? Yes.
You're talking about Kick-Ass.
I'm talking about Kick-Ass. I'm talking about Kick-Ass. That's what I'm talking about. Look how quickly
Sucker Punch, dude?
look how quickly we don't want to talk about the new Wonder Woman movie. For me, dude, it's a strong it's a strong no for me with the Wonder Woman one.
That's
all I got. That's all I got. Right. Watch sad. If you want.
That's sad because Wonder Woman was probably the best DC superhero movie besides the Batman's.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman is pretty good.
So Sucker Punch is that vampire hunter movie with all those ladies? Yeah, no, thank you, man. No, thank you.
What?
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm gonna Sucker Punch is about as good as it's about as good. This Wonder Woman movie is about as good as the new Charlie's Angels movie.
There's a new Charlie's Angels movie? And you watched it?
There's a new Charlie's Angels. It came out a year or two ago.
And you watched it?
I had to.
Why?
It's about as good as Ocean's 13 or Ocean's 14.
You have seen all these terrible movies, dude. Did you see the female Ghostbusters too?
Nah, that's too far.
That's where we draw the line.
That's where we
I was
draw
about
the
to say,
line.
we need to have a segment where you just review all of the worst movies of 2019. Because clearly you watched them all.
I still won't forget how we decided to watch nothing but slave movies just to make an episode of a podcast that did not come out.
True, we did that. We went through that. See? And this is the product. This is the product that you get from all that preparation. You're welcome.
Oh man. Mr. Miles Xavier, I think we done served up a hot plate of content, my brother. Happy 2021 to you. This is we're touching down with the new year with some new energy. We got some new plans for the people, man, and it's nothing but a pleasure to be your co-host through this process, I must say.
Cooking. Big cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait. Big cooking. Just wait. Good things coming. Check it out. Stick with us. Stick with us. I think you're gonna see this year. I'm speaking into existence. You're gonna see this mug take off in terms of the quality of content that we're providing. You'll see. Y'all gonna see. But I ain't even gonna hold you, man, because we know.
We know.
We are fully aware.
We know.
You have entirely too many choices when it comes to checking out a podcast. And so we appreciate you rocking with All the Way Live. Live in the sense that we're celebrating life. Live in the sense that we're celebrating. We're celebrating how good it feels to be black. Don't it feel good?
My favorite thing.
Celebrating 2021. Cruising on into this thing. So as I land this, as I reiterate to y'all, what's in the stash, what we got coming, believe me, y'all gonna want to be here for that. So with that, tantalizing teaser, peace, love, water, we gone.
Yeah.